In today's video, we bring you one of the most jaw-dropping moments you've ever seen, when a female cop gets owned like never before. It's not your typical police encounter. This is a clash of personalities, a test of wills, and a perfect example of a best cop troll of the year moment. What starts as a routine interaction quickly escalates into something far more intense. The cop, clearly in charge, meets her match in a way she never expected. Tension builds as every word exchanged raises the stakes, leaving both sides at a standstill. What happens when authority meets someone who knows exactly how to push the boundaries? Well, you're about to find out. This video is packed with suspense, and trust me, you won't want to miss the shocking turn of events. Stay tuned as the confrontation continues. What happens next will leave you on the edge of your seat. As the encounter unfolds, the tension in the room is almost tangible. The officer, firm and authoritative, tries to maintain control of the situation, but the individual she's facing isn't backing down. Who is this person? Just someone exercising their rights, or a master at challenging authority? Their calm demeanor and clever comebacks leave the officer visibly frustrated, trying to balance the rules she's sworn to uphold with the unexpected pushback she's receiving. Meanwhile, bystanders in the background glance nervously, unsure of what might happen next. The officer's partner stays quiet, perhaps waiting for the right moment to step in, while the person at the center of it all seems to thrive under pressure. Every exchange raises questions. How far will this go? Will the officer find a way to take control? Or is this the moment her authority slips away? The suspense builds, and no one knows what's coming next. The tension between the officer and the individual reaches new heights as the conversation takes a sharp turn. The officer, trying to assert her authority, raises her voice slightly, her frustration beginning to show. But the person standing before her remains composed, calmly questioning every command with precision and confidence. It's a clash not just of personalities but of principles, an unspoken battle over rights, power, and boundaries. In the background, the woman seated nearby looks uneasy, as if torn between wanting to speak up and staying out of it. The officer's partner watches closely, arms crossed, but still doesn't intervene, perhaps waiting to see how this plays out. Every pause, every word exchanged feels loaded, as if it could tip the balance at any moment. The officer steps forward slightly, trying to regain control, but her attempts only seem to fuel the individual's resolve. The room feels smaller now, the air thick with anticipation. What's going to happen next? Neither side shows any sign of backing down, and the conflict feels like it's only just beginning. The officer's voice sharpens, her patience wearing thin as she demands compliance. Her body language grows more rigid, her hand instinctively resting near her radio. But the individual holds their ground, their calm, measured responses only adding fuel to the fire. Each time the officer raises a point, it's countered with a question or a challenge that leaves her momentarily stunned. The back and forth feels like a chess match, with each move escalating the stakes. The small crowd that has gathered watches in silence, their eyes darting between the officer and the individual. The atmosphere is electric, every word exchanged adding to the suspense. Even the officer's partner now shifts uncomfortably, sensing the growing tension. The individual, unwavering, seems to thrive under the pressure, as though they've done this before. The officer steps closer, her voice firm but faltering slightly. It's clear she's reaching a breaking point. But just as the situation seems ready to explode, something shifts, a subtle moment that hints this showdown is about to reach its peak. Everyone is holding their breath, waiting to see who will make the next move. Just when it seems like the situation couldn't get any more intense, the individual makes a bold move that no one in the room saw coming. With a calm but pointed tone, they bring up a crucial detail, one that catches the officer off guard. It's a subtle but sharp reminder of rights, procedure, and accountability, and for a split second, the balance of power shifts. The officer hesitates, her confidence visibly shaken. The tension thickens as she exchanges a quick glance with her partner, who now looks uneasy. But the individual doesn't stop there. They calmly call attention to the bystanders, addressing them directly, almost as if pulling them into the situation. The crowd, previously silent, begins to murmur, and the energy in the room changes. It's no longer just between the officer and the individual. Now it feels like the entire room is watching, questioning, waiting for what will happen next. The officer straightens, her voice more assertive this time, but there's a trace of doubt behind her words. Every second feels like a build-up to something bigger, something no one can predict. The stakes have never been higher, and the room feels ready to erupt at any moment. What started as a routine encounter has spiraled into an unexpected standoff, and there's no telling how it will end. The officer, clearly trying to reassert control, takes a deep breath and steps closer, issuing one final warning. Her tone is sharp, and the tension is palpable. But just as it seems like she might take action, the individual calmly pulls out a printed copy of a legal document. The entire room seems to freeze. The officer stops mid-sentence, her eyes darting to the paper in the individual's hand. It's a clear, undeniable statement of their rights, something so definitive that it immediately shifts the dynamic. Her partner steps forward now, scanning the document quickly. The murmurs in the room grow louder as bystanders lean in, trying to catch a glimpse of what's happening. The officer's stern demeanor begins to falter, her confidence shaken in a way that's hard to hide. The individual stands firm, their expression calm but unwavering, as if they knew this moment was coming all along. And then the twist. The officer doesn't double down or push further. Instead, she steps back, her jaw tightening as she nods to her partner. The confrontation ends not with a dramatic outburst, but with a quiet retreat, leaving the crowd stunned. It's a victory for the individual, but the officer's lingering glare suggests this story might not be over. Just as the tension seems to fade, the individual turns to the crowd with a parting remark that leaves everyone wondering, who really holds the power in moments like these? The suspense carries beyond the room, leaving viewers with plenty to think about. As the officer and her partner leave, the room remains quiet, the tension lingering in the air. The individual takes a moment to gather their belongings, glancing at the bystanders who are still processing what just happened. Someone in the crowd speaks up, breaking the silence, asking how they managed to stand their ground so calmly. With a slight smile, the individual simply replies, "You just have to know your rights." The officer's retreat leaves an undeniable mark, a reminder of the delicate balance between authority and accountability. For those who witnessed it, the encounter was more than just an argument. It was a lesson in composure and knowledge. As the individual walks out, the room feels different. The once tense atmosphere has shifted into quiet reflection. The story ends with a clear message. Sometimes, standing firm and staying informed is enough to change the outcome, even in the most intense moments.